Hello, everyone. I'm Luke Kennedy, and this is my television studies final presentation. In this presentation, I'm going to introduce you to one of my original characters, a character who I should mention I've had in development for 2 years for an original Christian children's animated series concept that I've had flying around my head for quite some time. So without any further ado, allow me to introduce you to Takoyaki. Now, Takoyaki is a 23-year-old Israeli American, at least her world's equivalent. This is a fantasy series. Young woman who begins the series as a young farm girl. She runs her own little farm place, and well, she thinks that's all her life is really ever going to be like. However, destiny comes a knocking, and well, she jumps to the call of adventure and alongside three other misfit heroes on a journey across a gargantuan and admittedly rather silly fantasy world to stop the rather blandly named Dark Lord from taking it over. And here's a drawing of Takoyaki, which I did myself from the last month or two. Now, what is she like? Well, the best way I would describe Takoyaki's good attributes is that she's a hard worker with a strong moral compass and a very dedicated spirit. Like she knows, like, like if you give her a job to do, she will work very hard at it. And she knows and she's very firm in what she believes to be right and wrong. And she's also very determined to keep her team of oddballs together because, well, when the series starts, they're a rather dysfunctional bunch who tend to get at each other's throats. This admittedly sounds quite stressful, and you'd be right, because while she has an outwardly calm appearance, inside, Takoyaki's kind of a hot mess. She's put up a collected front to hide her insecurities about leading the team. And, well, as I said, it is stressful, but she's basically creating more stress for herself just by trying to act like it's not happening and that everything is fine and that she can manage it all. And what do you mean? I look like I'm about to cry. And she's stressed about her newfound teammates squabbling, so that too. On top of that, she's a bit stubborn. She doesn't know when to stop working on something until her body decides to make her stop. In other words, she's prone to burnout. As you can guess, there are some things that she's going to have to learn to work on. She's obviously going to have to overcome her anxieties about leading this band of misfits with the help of said misfits, such as Lucian, the vampire lad next to her in the drawing that, again, I did. He's basically her closest thing to a confidant among her new teammates. She's going to develop a healthy work-life balance so she doesn't burn herself out as much. And lastly, she's going to reconnect with the faith she left in her youth because, see, Takoyaki was originally a Christian or something akin to it, but she left the faith in her youth after a tragedy claimed the life of one of her loved ones. And, well, she ended up being plagued with doubts and disconcerting thoughts. And so she just left the faith rather than choose to dig deeper and find answers to her questions about life and death. So, with all that said, what makes her a hero? Well, she's very determined to do the right thing and compassionate. She's firm in her moral beliefs, and she's willing to adapt to new situations, such as going from farm life to hero work. Another thing that makes her a hero is that she's very grounded and very flawed. Like, as you can guess, she's kind of like, as I said, she's a mess. But I did this to show that anyone can be a hero, even in a fantasy world full of magic where you're a complete and hot mess on the inside. You can still heal and become a better person. Like I think that'd be aspirational for some people, and it'd be very cathartic for others to see someone open up about their anxieties and get support and, well, eventually break out of the shell of anxiety, and blossom into something much greater and much stronger. And she'd be relevant for this day and age because I don't know if it was intentional or not, but I it was intentional, but she's reflective of actual 20 somethings. I'm speaking from personal experience, not stereotypes gotten off the internet. She's somewhat anxious about her new role as leader of this band of prophesied heroes, but she's determined to show what she can do through said role. As I've mentioned, she's prone to overworking herself because, like, burnouts are common, and I feel that would be relatable to the audience. But of course, we can't just leave it there. So she would also show the importance of having a good support system who can help one through stressful times. Now, considering this show is aimed at children, I'm going to have to water some of the stress and support system and burnout stuff down, but I feel that would help ready those kids for situations like a burnout and remind them, hey, it's good that I have friends who are this supportive and this kind to me. She can, in addition, when I designed her, I didn't design her with race in mind, and that kind of gives her a flexibility so she can be seen as any race. Like, maybe she could be a really light mixed race young woman, or Polynesian, or Thai, but ultimately I decided to make her representative of the Israeli people, who I don't think have been on TV or even in children's media. Like, I just thought that would be a good way to give some people some those people some representation. And she's wrestling with her place in the world and with her faith, which I feel both would be rather common for people her age. Like, the show isn't going to deal with existentialism, or something along those lines, but it will tackle some questions about faith that I don't think a lot of Christian children's shows would. Like, it's not going to be like Bible Man, where the faith is constantly reaffirmed. Like, I do want some challenges here and there that'll hopefully lead the audience to go a little deeper into their spiritual explorations. And at the same time, wrestling with her place in the world would make her settling into being the leader of this band of heroes she's now part of feel satisfying, because if if you were someone who finally got a job, chances are you'd, around the same time she finally adjusted to her role as leader of the team, you'd feel like, hey, I can relate to that. So, yeah, that's pretty much how Takoyaki would be a relevant hero for this day and age. And with that, the presentation comes to an end. Here's an image of the series' main quartet and its name, Eternity Kingdoms, which I admit is actually a pretty nice, which is a very fitting name considering events that'll happen later on, but I can't cram those in here. This is about Takoyaki, not Eternity Kingdoms as a whole. I hope you all enjoyed.